Mint Diggity, who I like very much on Twitter, if you like gay internet drama, but you don't want to see too much of it, Mint Diggity gives you good cliff notes. Mint Diggity says, Brian Landon is spiraling. Oh, sniping. I don't know what a Brian Landon is. I feel bad whenever someone like wants attention from a bigger show like this one, and then I don't know who they are. Like, it's that Thanos moment where you're like, I don't even know who you are. Like, I don't understand what I've done to you. So I apologize. I'm not trying to be, I'm too big to listen to the rumors. I'm just too damn big to pay attention to them. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know who
I have
that
to see the face. I recognize faces.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. But Brian, listen to me, buddy. Brian, one day when you're all grown up, you can have a dedicated following just like the Toe does. And I hope that for you. But you're not going to get there by sniping, buddy. Here's the deal about sniping. All it does is show that you don't have as much talent as the person you're watching. So in order to keep people drawn into you, you have to watch something else that they find more interesting. It's
You're
not
like a fisherman using them as bait.
Yeah, it's not a good look, buddy. It just shows that whatever you're doing, I'm doing better. So my advice from a guy who's been able to pay his bills doing this for 20 years, I would say develop a show, learn how to talk about things, provide content that even if everybody else in the world stopped broadcasting today, you would still have a show to do. That would be my advice. But again, you can follow people who have been maybe making money at it for 2 years. Take it from a guy who's been making money at it for 20. I'm just trying to help you, buddy. You're going to know someday that I was on your side. Mad Move says, Aaron, any comments on the Mersh Ralph shit last night? You know I don't discuss any drama on this show unless it's happening in my life.
Right. Do you follow it, though?
I don't know what happened with Mersh and Ralph last night, but I do know. How much do I divulge here? Because I was going to hold this till tomorrow. I won't divulge anything that'll over Ralph. How's that?
Okay.
I did have a conversation with Ethan Ralph. And Ethan Ralph and I buried the hatchet from our history. Now, I am not going to work with Ethan Ralph. I'm not going to say ever, but at least right now, I'm not going to work with Ethan Ralph. I'm not going to work with anybody that may have contributed in any way to my shit.
Just the shitstorm in general. Yeah. Okay.
But I did talk to Ralph, and one thing we did clear up was his contempt of court charge, because Ralph decided to go in on me, and Ralph wrote to me about something else that we're not going to directly work together on. But he wrote to me and he said, well, you know what? Why don't I read them? That way I'm not embellishing.
Okay.
I'm not going to read anything that would betray his confidence or anything like that, because he did. I'll say this. Ethan Ralph pulled a dude move. Like, he pulled a man move. I still can't. Oh, we talked about wrestling for a little bit. Here we go. Jesus Christ, there's a lot here. I'm not going to read that part because that gives away something. I blamed you for me missing one visit with my son, which I sort of embellished because it was my contempt that did that, his contempt of court. Okay. Then he talks about someone else. Not going to talk about that. I think you know which one I consider worse. As a father yourself, I think you would agree. So I said, look, man, you never came and talked to me about what happened in court. They blamed me for you streaming my appearance. They already had your ass, but I just told them you and I were not friendly, because the thing about Ralph's contempt of court charge, it was at my original arraignment. They asked me about Ethan Ralph. They go, this guy, Ethan Ralph, streamed this court appearance. They were very upset about it. And they thought he was on my side, and they were going to use that against me. They were going to make me part of Ethan Ralph's thing. And I said, Ethan Ralph and I are not friendly. He does not like me. He despises me. So they said, okay. They were already going to get Ethan Ralph for contempt of court before I said a word. But they were going to try and lump me in with it. And I was like, nope, I got enough shit on my plate. I said, you were blocked already for doing something stupid. I would never take anyone away from their kids, but I was just trying to get back to mine. And he said, you're right. I should have talked to you like a man, and I definitely broke the law, LOL. And then the rest is about this thing.
This thing that he's got going, right? Okay.
So I don't want to spill the beans on his thing. But then we just started talking about stuff. There's some other stuff that I don't want to talk about, that I don't want to betray his confidence on. But Ralph and I did talk. We did bury the hatchet. I did say, though, that at least for now, I don't think it's a good idea that we work together. He agreed. It wasn't like we had some fight about it. He's like, no, I think it's great. I think it's this. We agreed that now's not the time. But it's always nice to clear the air with people.
Okay.
You know?
So circling back to the Mersh Ralph stuff, do you even know anything about it? I don't even know what it is.
There is a thing where, like, this girl wanted to, like, this e-girl, I don't even think she was an e-girl. I think she was like a chat rat. She wanted to Mersh.
Okay.
Mersh told her no. He said, and you know what? To Mersh's credit, he was very self-aware. He's like, I'm paraphrasing. He released the DMs. I'm human garbage. Whatever instinct you have that's causing you to do this, have it removed surgically from your body. Okay. And so he was he was very clear to her. Well, she went and then Ralph.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, somebody else was playing the pimp. Like, someone else was like pimping her out to these guys. And it's so weird. It's so internety. I mean, I felt like I had to go to Whitney Center and play basketball because I just had to, like, go outside. So, like, Ralph, this girl, I don't know if they're together. I don't know what the deal is. I just know that there was a thing over some woman, like there always is. And now they're beefing.
That's a shame.
Mad Move says it is way past that shit now, Aaron. Mersh is now saying he is taking Ralph's kids and going to be the new dad figure and shit. Well, that just shows that you're out of content. That just shows that you can't do this as like an entertainer and be funny about it if you're saying you're going to take his kid. That's just a lowbrow dog shit move. But here's the deal. At least Mersh admits that he's bottom feeding and he's desperate to hang in this life and he will go anywhere and do anything. And he's kissing any ring he can, including, like, Mersh. There was a guy Mersh used to call a danger to children. And now he's bent the knee and kissed the ring because Nightwave was dying.
Oh.
And, everybody's got a decision to make. And he made his.
I hope he's happy with it, That's the best you can do. I hope you're happy
with
it.
So, yeah, I would rather stay on the sidelines for this.
Sounds good. It ain't involved at all, and I'm very happy about it.
It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's between those two. So, yeah, I'm just glad I got to clear the air with Ralph. It was cool that he reached out. My instincts have gotten better over the last year or so, and I said it's just not a good idea for you and I to work together.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not into the same shit he's into. I do a morning show. I do a morning zoo talk show. They do drama stuff. I'm not.
I can understand that. I've said that myself relatively recently.
Yeah. All right. Why? Who wanted to drag you into some shit?
I don't know specifically. People were telling me on my show that, like, Chad Zumach said he wanted me to be on his program.
Oh, that's where the money is. That's where the money is right there. World War Z.
I haven't been paying attention to anything Chad's doing. I don't know that it's necessarily the same. And it becomes a question of, all right, so what are we doing with my schedule? Because I'm already looking at taking the few little pockets of time I have and maybe finding a work from home job I can squeeze into those holes. But, like, after that, I'm either sacrificing my show or I'm sacrificing my time with my daughter. And considering that this move thing, while delayed, is definitely happening, I'm already going to lose time with my child because of the distance thing. I'm not itching to sacrifice time with my daughter right now.
I get that. I understand. I will tell you this, though. As a father, unfortunately, sometimes in order to better our position and thus our child's position, we do have to sacrifice.
We have to make those. Right. Yeah. No, I'm completely with that. It's not stopping me from anything. It's just like I said. So I'm saying, I already know that there's going to be a daddy-daughter time cut coming in the future.
Mad Move says, if Mersh offers to bury the hatchet, you taking both offers. I don't have any hatchet to bury with Mersh. We don't have any involvement. I mean, outside of him having his truck repossessed and needing money, Mersh and I have never been directly involved with each other. You have to understand, every single one of these steel toe people, outside of maybe two guys, I don't have any connection with. They needed me. I never needed them. I never used them. Nothing. I'll take little pot shots here and there because I'm funnier than they are. But like,
they do the same back. It's kind of the game.
They've always kind of needed me. There's no hatchet to bury with Mersh because I don't take anything Mersh has done personal because I know it's just been for money because he needs Nightwave to stay afloat. So you can only do so much Jack Scalafani, you know? Numero uno Josh Denny fan said Kevin Brennan has said in the last week he'd like to have Johnny on purely to talk about him. No prying into the toe. I want to say this publicly. I fully endorse Johnny going on Misery Loves Company. And I will say this. Kevin Brennan is a nice man. Kevin Brennan is a fair man. He's an honest man. Kevin Brennan pays well to go on his show. He treats his guests right. I think you'd be in good hands with Kevin Brennan. I have never had an interaction with Kevin Brennan that was based on, him needing or wanting something from me. He's offered me to be on the show. And when I've said, no, I can't do it, I would rather not. He's still been very gracious. He's been very nice. Kevin Brennan is, he's a solid dude.
I'm remarkably boring. I don't know what there is to talk about me.
He'll pay you.
It depends on the times. And I don't know that I want to do anyone else's show. I'm trying to get like serious life stuff figured out.
I'm getting it's a little frustrating to you talk about the money thing and it's like you go, hey, here's this money opportunity. And I keep hearing no.
I've had bad experiences with people asking me to come on their show.
And I'm telling you that Kevin Brennan's one of the good ones. And it would be interesting because he'd ask you a lot about about your life. I'm sure it's probably an interview you've done 100 times before. And he probably wants to know about MS and how you got involved in the broadcasting stuff and comedy. Kevin, also a very accomplished stand-up. I bet you Kevin could give you some tips on joke writing and shit like that. I'm not saying you have to do it. No. I'm just saying don't turn it down because you think Kevin's going to ambush you, because I can promise you he won't. He will talk to you beforehand. He will treat you fair.
I'm not turning it down because I think Kevin's going to ambush me. I'm literally saying, what time does this fit in? I'm asking questions. What time does this fit in?
Well, he does his show at 3 to 5 usually.
So I'd have to cut one of mine short. That's not impossible.
Yeah.
It'd have to be later in the week because, I'm getting burnt out from doing this one, then mine. So if I did this one, then mine, then his, then that's stacking 3 in the way that gets rough.
You're going to make at least a couple $100.
I'm not opposed. And here's the thing. I don't even think that it'll be Kevin thing. I think steel toe. My biggest concern is an audience, people using that audience platform, and Kevin's just asking the questions his audience pays for. His audience.
Like I said,
it's one of those things I've gotten burned before. That's the best way to say it.
His audience will ask steel toe questions, but just answer them honestly. And the more super chats come in, the more you get paid. Kevin's a good dude. He gives you a cut of the action.
It's worth hearing him out.
I've been on that. I don't want to say the number because I don't want to get Kevin in trouble with any of his other guests. When Chad and I did what I think is the most famous episode of MLC of all time, or at least in the top 2 or 3, certainly of the YouTube era, it's the most memorable MLC of all time. It was supposed to be just Chad and I. That was the angle already. Chad and Aaron for the first time ever. And I felt like Chad and I made some progress. Got to talk to Florentine again for the first time since I performed with him 6 years ago. But it was also the time we found out that April had been arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So it became this crazy show. And Kevin paid me very healthy sum for that episode. So I'm saying this. You don't have to do it, but
I'm interested. But
anything you're worried about, I endorse Kevin's ability to treat you properly.
I'm not worried about Kevin mistreating me.
Okay.
I guess is the way to word it.
Approachable says, yeah, Johnny, listen to Aaron. He's been on all kinds of great shows. Just look at the... Now, Aaron, stay in your own lane. I'm only saying it from a financial perspective because Johnny's been talking about financial
he's not wrong about that.
Today.
I need the money. I've got 3 avenues I'm looking at solving the whole housing situation. One way or another, hopefully having... One of the options might be having my own place in a little while here, but that requires paying off
I told
a car
you,
and
you're not
changing
going to
some
push
stuff.
me out, you son of a bitch.
What are you talking about?
I'm joking.
No, that's... Come squat in your house.
Yeah,
No,
exactly. Kicking me out.
No,
of my-
I'm looking at some interesting housing options.
Now
Son of a
look,
bitch.
the internet overlooks into shit all the time. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. Yeah, I mean, they were so mad at me for being good at basketball in jail that they were like calling the jail to find out if that was true. like the jail keeps stats. And they were like, yeah, his points per game was up and a lot of production in the paint and all that stuff.